In the beginning, they were dreamers, visionaries, risk-takers. They were the good guys. They wore the white hats. It was the Democrats who wore the black hats. Those dastardly, cowardly villains back in those days. What changed? Imagine this. It's the 1850s, and a group of hopeless dreamers gathers at a rickety cabin in southern Wisconsin because they've got a big idea. What if we stopped enslaving that significant portion of the population just because they have a different skin color, a different shaped nose maybe, or a kink to the hair? What if we did that? And that big idea became a horrific civil war that they gallantly and bravely fought and won, making that dream come true, freeing the slaves forever. And if that weren't enough, this party of the little people went on to settle the West. They created the Homestead Act, making it possible for anyone crazy enough to go out to the territories to get 160 free acres of public land to build farms. And then they created land-grant colleges, ag schools, so that the farmers could learn how to grow their crops. And then another big idea, creating the Transcontinental Railroad so those crops could get to market. So what went wrong? Well, they became victims of their own success. Having won the Civil War, the Republicans were now in the ascendancy. Everybody who was anybody wanted to be a Republican in those days. It was the Democrats who were outcasts, despised as traitors to their country. And having acquired so much power, over time the Republicans decided they wanted to keep that power, oddly. And that takes money, lots of it. And thus the party of the little people became the party of the robber barons, like John D. Rockefeller with his Standard Oil Trust, ruthlessly crushing his competitors, or Andrew Carnegie breaking his workers' backs at building his steel empire, or J.P. Morgan, the banker who made it possible for 1% of this country to own half the wealth. And over it all were the Republicans, controlling everything. That 1% of the country back in the Gilded Age, just over 600,000 Americans who owned half the country's wealth, they didn't hide that fact. They didn't have to. These days, it's a mere 400 people who own half the country's wealth, and they lie about it all the time. Look at that billionaire's tax cut, which they sold with the lie that their supporters would get a pay bump, knowing full well that it would never happen. And to make sure they can hold on to that wealth, they cheat, such as gerrymandering all those House districts to try to hold on to the House of Representatives, or they trick the little people out of their political power with their voter suppression laws. And why do the little people not cry out? Because they're distracted by yet one more lie of those immigrants on the southern border. They're told that they're bringing drugs and crime and diseases across the border, when in fact it's just a bunch of scared mothers determined to get their children to safety. And thus our hearts break at this sordid and twisted tale of how the party of the little people mutates into the party of the robber barons, and then, in their manic and mad desire to steal and hoard as much wealth and political power as possible, metastasizes at last into the party of dirty tricks, earning an infamy unparalleled in the annals of humanity. Unless we stop them. Are you with me? Thanks for watching my video. If you like what you see, subscribe to my channel. Just click on that red box below. I want to keep you laughing.